All right, gang, all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening. I'll start the council meeting of July 9, 2019 at 7:39 PM. Roll call, please.
Mayor Delaquila,
Here.
Director of Law Pignatello,
Here.
Director of Finance Herwick. Here. Councilman at Large Elliott,
Here.
Councilwoman at Large Kelly. Here. Councilwoman at Large Steger,
Here.
Ward 1 Councilman Biassiata,
Here.
Ward 2 Councilman Martin,
Here.
Ward 3 Councilman Snitsky, Ward 4 Councilman Greenwald,
Here.
Director of Public Service and Properties Johnson,
Here.
Building Commissioner Hoop,
Here.
Engineer Collins.
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Ward 3 Councilman Snitsky this evening. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly? Yes. Elliott?
Yes.
Steger?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Next up is the reading and disposal of the journal.
Council President,
Councilwoman.
having read the minutes of the regular meeting of May 28th, 2019, I find no errors or omissions, and I therefore move to accept the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Steger?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to consent agenda, July 9, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
if there is no division of the question, I move that we accept the consent agenda for July 9th, 2019.
I second.
Roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Steger?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Consent agenda's been adopted. Moving on to resolutions of commendation, Resolution 19, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read resolution number 19-2019 in its entirety for its first and final reading.
I'll second. We'll have the first reading of Resolution 19.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Steger?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Resolution number 19, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and council members Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Steger, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. A resolution of commendation to Mike Binder, City of Seven Hills Hall of Fame resident of the month, July 2019. Whereas Mike Binder was born in Parma and moved to Seven Hills in the year 2000. Mr. Binder coached youth softball for 16 years, coaching in the Emerald Necklace Girls Fast Pitch League, Seven Hills Baseball Federation Leagues, and a varsity team from Old Brooklyn. During his tenure as a Seven Hills baseball coach, he served as Seven Hills Baseball Federation president for a number of years. And whereas Mike Binder works with computers for a living and created websites for both the Seven Hills Baseball Federation and the Emerald Necklace Baseball Leagues. The websites are both still in operation 19 years later. And whereas Mike Binder is also a lifelong musician, his mother taught him to play the piano when he was 8, and his love of music was born. Along with piano, Mike plays the violin and guitar. His first band, Sinner's Fate, was formed in high school, which later became a band called Archer, after which he began performing solo acoustic guitar. Today, Mike is one of the busiest professional musicians in the Cleveland area. He sings and plays guitar in several groups. One group is called the King Bees, a blues jazz group that originated in 1993. His most recent group is a popular pop rock group called the Jam Machine. Mike is currently looking forward to performing with the Jam Machine at this year's Seven Hills Home Days Festival. And whereas the City of Seven Hills and the Hall of Fame Committee would like to recognize Mike Binder for his outstanding achievements and endeavors by inducting him in the Seven Hills Hall of Fame, Resident of the Month, July 2019. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, that the appreciation of the mayor, of council, and all other elected and appointed officials is hereby extended to Mike Binder for his outstanding achievements, and the best wishes of the official family are herewith extended to him for continued success. That the clerk of council be and she is hereby authorized and directed to forward a certified copy of this resolution to Mike Binder immediately upon its adoption. That this resolution is hereby determined to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and welfare of the city of Seven Hills, and for the further reason that same affects the day-to-day business of the municipality. Wherefore, this resolution shall take effect and be in force immediately upon its adoption. Otherwise, it's the earliest period allowed by law.
Thank you. Do we have a further motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman?
I move that we adopt resolution number 19-2019.
I'll second. Do we have any comments?
Mr. President, I would just like to congratulate Mr. Binder on this honor and thank him for the service to the community.
Any further comments?
Yes, Council President, I would like to echo the words of Randy as well. Congratulations to Mr. Binder, and thank you for being an outstanding resident in our city. Keep rocking.
Anyone else? I'll go then. As we've something that we've started over a year ago, we've been recognizing people who make a difference through various volunteer efforts and/or their contributions to the arts, athletics, all things that really make a city a community and give it its special flavor. And our honoree tonight is no different. By pitching in for 16 years with the Baseball Federation, through coaching, creating the websites that are still in play today, that all brings a service to the people that the residents and the children that benefit from this may not have had otherwise. In addition to his contribution to our baseball federation, we also have a lifelong musician who will be performing at this year's home days. So he's providing two valuable services to community, and I congratulate him on his honor this evening. Anyone further? Roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Mike Binder's resolution recognizes accommodation has been approved. This evening, Mike's unable to be here tonight because he's out, has a gig, but Mike Kosiak is here to accept on his honor, and if Councilman Elliott can do the honors today. Welcome. If anyone can help me with a picture today. Anyone in the audience? If not, give me a second. Come up to the podium so I can get a good view so I can pass it to the Hall of Fame. That's okay. All good for posterity. Thank you. Let me get one more. Thanks for coming, Mike.
Busy tonight, so I'll accept this as an honor, make sure it gets it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And when we see him at home. Oh, here. Carol put a lot of work into making that look nice, and she wants it protected. Thank you. And thank you, Carol. All right. Moving on to reports of committees, planning, zoning, economic development. Councilman Snitsky's not here this evening, so we'll get his update in 2 weeks. Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. President. The most recent meeting of the Public Works Committee was held on July 2nd. The minutes of that meeting are pending. Next meeting will be held on September 3rd.
Community Services.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last meeting was on July 2nd. Those minutes are on file with the clerk, and the next meeting is September 3rd.
Thank you. Police and Safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. The minutes from my last meeting are on file. The next public safety meeting is 7/16, which is next week.
Parks and Recreation,
Mr. President, the
Councilman.
minutes for Parks and Recs are on file, and the next meeting is July 16th.
Rules, Ordinances, and Ethics.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our last meeting was on July 2nd. The minutes are on file with the clerk, and our next meeting will be September 3rd.
Finance, Civil Service, and Personnel. Our last meeting was July 2nd. Those meeting minutes are on file with the clerk, and our next will be July 16th. We have no appointments or communications this evening. Is that correct? So now council is now open to the audience on legislation only. First row, second row.
Bob Roble, Winchester Oval. I just want to make a comment about, and a suggestion about ordinance number 105, 2019, that I would really, I think that council not only needs to take a look at this ordinance in its entirety, as to its appropriateness, but also to look again at the specific ordinances 173 and 174 from 2018, to make sure that this is something that the subject of those ordinances, I think, need to be addressed, and you may want to take a look at that. And with that, I close my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roble. Anyone else in the second row? Third row? Okay. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 147, 2018.
Mr. President,
Councilman?
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 147-2018 by title only for its third and final reading.
Second.
Roll call?
Kelly,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance 147, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Roble, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend section 151.091, compensation of employees generally, as contained in chapter 151, employees generally, of Title V Administrative of Part 1 Administrative Code of the codified ordinances of the city of Seven Hills for the purpose of amending the compensation for the Director of Finance.
We have a further motion.
Yes, Mr. President, I move that we pass ordinance number 147-2018.
Second.
Any comments? I'd like to add for the record, as we have with other pay ranges, a lot of work went into this. It's never a fun thing to do, and is evidenced by our performance to budget last year, where we came in $700,000 under our revised budget, 1.31 million under our original budget. Things like this council's never taken lightly. As such, the question is at hand is not about a raise or anything like that. The question at hand before our council members, everyone that are left, is this an appropriate range for the position? We've been given significant research that indicates that even at the highest level of this new proposed range, we're still $10,000 under the Northern Ohio average. So it's, if approved tonight, it's still very, very conservative and in lines with how we've addressed other issues when they've come to light. So that's all I'd like to state for the record. Any further comments? Roll call.
Kelly,
No.
Elliott,
No.
Stager,
Yes.
Greenwald,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
and Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 94. For second reading.
Ordinance 94, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila. An ordinance to amend subsection 159.04C, Mayor's Court Magistrate, as contained in Chapter 159, Mayor's Court of Title VII, Judicial of Part 1 Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of amending the compensation of the Mayor's Court Magistrate, retroactive to January 1st, 2019.
Ordinance 95, 2019, second reading.
Ordinance 95, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla. An ordinance to amend subsection 129.011C, Director of Finance, as contained in Chapter 129, Department of Finance of Title V Administrative of Part 1 Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of amending paid vacation benefits, permitting the Director of Finance to cash out up to 80 hours vacation time per year.
Moving on to ordinance 97, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 97, 2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second?
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance 97, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Questcom Graphics for 6,000 copies of the City of Seven Hills 2019 Home Days booklet, including all mailing preparation, postage, and delivery to the post office, authorizing an amount not to exceed $7,500 for said service and declaring an emergency.
Further motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we pass ordinance 97, 2019.
Second?
Any comments? I'd just like to note for the record that this is a flow through, that the cost of the production and the print postage is paid for by the advertising in the booklet. Any further comments? Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 98, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 98-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
I'll second. Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance 98, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, with American Fireworks Company of Hudson, Ohio, for the purpose of selling, furnishing, delivering, and presenting a fireworks display for the City of Seven Hills 2019 Home Days, appropriating a sum not to exceed $8,500 for said service and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I'd just like to state for the record, these are the fireworks for Home Days that is coming up later this month. That is the reason that it's an emergency. I move that we pass ordinance number 98-2019.
I'll second. Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 99.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 99-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance 99, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio with Aladdin Rents of Eastlake, Ohio, for the purpose of providing tents, risers, and appurtenances to be used at the City of Seven Hills 2019 Home Days, appropriating an amount not to exceed $4,301 for said service and declaring an emergency.
Further motion.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
I move that we pass ordinance 99-2019.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 100, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance 100-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance 100, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to appropriate the sum not to exceed $5,906.94 for a change order to ordinance number 9319, passed by council June 25th, 2019, which authorized the repairs to fire department engine number 2, which consists of, but is not limited to, replacing the Class 1 pressure governor controller, clear all codes and retest all circuits, and declaring an emergency.
Further motion?
Mr. President, I
Councilman.
move that we pass ordinance 100-2019.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Um, We'll have the first reading ordinance 101.
Ordinance 101, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla. An ordinance to amend section 125.011A, compensation and expense allowance of mayor as contained in chapter 125, Mayor of Title 5, Administrative of Part 1, Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, by modifying the compensation of the mayor from $14,000 to $28,000 annually.
Ordinance 102, 2019 for first reading.
Ordinance 102, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. Ordinance providing for the submission to the electors of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, a certain charter amendment pursuant to Article 10 of the Charter of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of amending Article 3, the Council, Section 10, validation of actions.
Ordinance 103.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman. I'm sorry, it's first reading.
I believe that there is a typo in 103-2019.
Okay.
On page 2, paragraph 3, beginning, the president of council shall be acting mayor when the mayor is absent from the city or unable for any cause to perform his duties. Actually, there's 2. That's a gendered pronoun, his or her duties with the same power and duties as the mayor, and shall continue as a council person with all powers and duties of another one, council representative.
What, that was page 2?
That was page 2, paragraph 3. There are 1, 2, 3 typos there for gendered pronouns.
Okay, make an amendment.
I move to amend.
Here's what the amendment, you're gonna do, because it's in multiple places, say ordinance 103, 20, I'll do it.
Go ahead.
I move to amend ordinance 103, 2019, section 11, and replace all reference to councilmen to councilperson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. We'll now have first reading of amended ordinance. That was 103,
Yes.
amended ordinance 103, 2019.
Amended ordinance 103, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacola and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance providing for the submission to the electors of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, a certain charter amendment pursuant to Article 10 of the Charter of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of amending Article 3 of the Council, Section 11, President of Council.
Thank you. I'll now have the first reading of ordinance 104, 2019.
Ordinance 104, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacola and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend Section 121.09 rules, of council as contained in Chapter 121 Council of Title III Legislative of Part 1 Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of adding Rule 27 entitled Revisions.
We'll now have the first reading of ordinance 105, 2019.
Ordinance 105, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquilla and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to approve the omnibus discharge of pending legislation that has been laid on the table indefinitely by the Council of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio. All discharged legislation shall receive a nay vote and be marked as defeated.
And last but not least, Resolution 20, 2019 for first reading.
Resolution number 20, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquilla and Kinski and Greenwald. A resolution memorializing the amendments to the City of Seven Hills Charter relating to matters of form only, gender revisions.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
yeah, the resolution that was just read by the clerk, that is where everything was being fixed regarding the words chairperson and et cetera for gender issues. So we've done a redundant thing here by correcting the other language.
Oh, okay.
Section 11 was not changed in its introduction as an item.
Understood. So Resolution 20 would have amended what we needed when and if passed.
Correct.
Thank you, Councilman.
I thought my understanding was that was just the charter in Resolution 20-2019, not an ordinance.
Okay, there's no worries. This both were on for first reading today, and we have our ducks in a row now, and I appreciate both council persons, Stager and Martin's contribution. Council now open to the audience. Miscellaneous, first row.
Ron Chura, John Glenn Drive. I'm going to read a statement, and I'm going to pass out my attempt to read something to council. But I'll read the first paragraph and I'll pass this out. I attempted to address Seven Hills City Council with the following at a caucus meeting on 6/18/19. I was rushed and interrupted by the council president and felt that it was either rudeness or controlling my presentation to shut me up. I tend to believe the latter. This is what I was going to read, and I couldn't get it all out. I also am going to include this on social media, so anybody that would want to look at it, it'll be on social media on some of the websites. Basically, that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chura. In the future, Mr. Chura, it's okay with me, but the rules of council state that you need to ask permission to approach the podium to hand out stuff. So I'm good with it. I'm not, the first act I did was take the rope down. That's because things were becoming a circus and they had to put a rope up. And in these last 2 years, people have been treated with respect and the rope come down. Anything further in the first row? Second row? Third row? Okay. Miscellaneous comments, start on the far end. Mr. Martin.
Mr.
I have
President,
nothing this
Oh.
evening.
Mayor.
Hold on.
I think I'm at number 11.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Trying to get ahead of ourselves. Reports and communications from the Mayor's Safety Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just maybe not so briefly, but I do have an update on the citywide rain and flooding. I'm going to read into the record an item that's been posted online. I'm going to offer it with your permission to be included in the minutes. Seven Hills, along with all of Northeast Ohio, has been experiencing record rainfalls this season. As such, a few neighborhoods in Seven Hills were impacted to varying degrees. In addition to our permanent sewer department staffed by 4 employees, Seven Hills over the last year and a half has proactively taken additional steps to improve our sewer infrastructure, including 1, replacing 30 catch basins fully reimbursed by the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. 2, contracting with the Cuyahoga County Department of Public Works to supplement our sewer maintenance capabilities. And 3rd, hiring AECOM to perform smoke and dye testing around the East Ridgewood area. A couple of weeks ago, the city suffered an unusually heavy rain event that significantly impacted some residents. Understanding how devastating this can be to a household, the city immediately scheduled a meeting with impacted residents to achieve the following. First, conducting the emergency public meeting to identify those so impacted. Second, categorizing the different types of issues, for example, flooded basements, storm or sanitary, backyard water, private property laterals, etc. And third, determining the areas of highest impact to set the priorities. After gathering feedback from our residents, the city then consulted with professionals to develop both short-term and long-term objectives to anticipate future high rainfall storms. Specifically regarding the Hemlock Creek Watershed Utility Improvements Project, after a review with the engineering department and the contractor performing those improvements, it was decided an initial step of authorizing an additional stormwater relief discharge sewer from the Mary Lane area would be a logical first step to possibly addressing some of the stormwater issues experienced in that general area. Much more study is required in light of these heavy rainstorms, as the varying potential issues that may impact one neighborhood could be completely different in another part of town. In the short term, the city plans to increase contractual implementation with the county in order to cover more ground faster. Long term, the city is working on a comprehensive plan with the intent of identifying root causes and long-term strategies to meet the challenges posed by these ever more frequent heavy storms. This plan will initially include the following: sewer shed development, citywide flow monitoring, prioritization of problem areas, public property investigation, such as mainline dye testing, private property investigation, residential dye testing, additional jetting, cleaning, and maintenance of city-owned storm sewer infrastructure, continuing to work with the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District on providing all reported flooding calls to them, eventual implementation of future Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District recommendations discovered from their continual data collection regarding stormwater, storm sewers, and sanitary sewers. I would also be remiss if I didn't specifically thank and identify our city engineer, Dan Collins, and our Director of Public Services, Jack Johnson, who have been so instrumental in addressing this situation on behalf of our residents. Thank you, Mr. President. This time I'd like to submit that statement to be included in the minutes.
Okay. Councilman Martin.
Nothing to this. Thank you.
Councilman Greenwald,
Nothing this evening.
Councilwoman Stager,
Nothing, thank you.
Councilman Elliott.
Yes, I have one thing for, I'd like to acknowledge Tony Terry and all the hard work he's doing this month. I'd like to thank him in advance because I know he's probably not sleeping a whole lot, putting home days together. I know it's a very rough month for him. And he's also coaching baseball and doing some other things, being a dad and a husband. So I'd like to thank him in advance for his hard work because I know it's extremely tough on him this time of year. That's all.
Okay, Councilwoman.
Nothing further, thank you.
Director of Finance,
Thank you, no report.
Director of Law. No report. Director of Public Service,
No report.
City Engineer.
My latest reports, excuse me, is on file with the mayor's office. That's all, thank you.
Building Commissioner.
No report.
Okay, to wrap things up tonight, I'll do my miscellaneous. A couple things I'll address Mr. Chura's comments. I apologize if you felt it was an attempt to control you. I wanted to impart upon you that I agree with you that Joe Andrews Jr. deserves significant recognition. I was trying to impart that after the VFW of Seven Hills closed, which was named after Joe, that was one of the last things we had recognized on him, and it's been something on my mind for a long time that we should do something. And I wanted to let you know that I'd already talked to his father in the hallway, told him that I was thinking and that our Rockside partners already agreed to name a street and a plaza after him. So I was just trying to let you know that I agree that he's a great person, humble, and did a tremendous amount for the country, and that I had an even bigger plan for him. If it's council's desire to name North Park after this distinguished American, I'm all for it. I think he deserves even more. So I hope you accept my apology. You've been complimentary for about 4 years now, and 2 terms of my hard work on council. Disappointed that it's political season and you feel differently now, but that's the nature of the game, and I'll take it. Will point out the 6/18 meeting that you passed out, I wasn't present at, so the date's wrong, but I certainly remember the meeting you're talking about. It was a different date. But what did happen at the 6/18 meeting were several violations of our rules, and we hope we don't have that again. It is inappropriate for a council member to interrupt any member of this dais. It's inappropriate for a council member, any audience member, to yell point of order, interrupt a person, whether you like the person or not. They were elected and represent the people of Seven Hills. So when we're interrupting someone, we're interrupting a person that is voted on by the people to represent the people of Seven Hills. So there were a number of violations by the audience at the 6/18 meeting, and I trust those will never happen again. Repeated warnings can lead up to removal to keep the meetings moving. But I'm very confident, as I know everyone in the audience, that that'll never come to be. So let's continue to work together, debate our differences in a civil manner, and vote when it's time to vote, and leave the politics outside in the parking lot. So once again, I apologize if you thought I rushed or shut up. You'll do what you'll do, but I'm presenting the facts. That I agree with you that this great American should be recognized, and I had already had a plan in place that you would appreciate it. But if we prefer to do the park, then that's okay with me as well. So everyone have a good evening, and take care. I motion to adjourn at 8:17. Do I have a second?
Second,
Roll call.
Kelly,
yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes, have a good evening, everyone.